Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and in today's episode we will be looking at Boba Fett on how to mod him and how to use him correctly. What we know so far is Boba Fett is a universal character and he can fit into almost any team in the game, but the issue a lot of players are having currently is their Boba Fett is underperforming. This is actually nothing that's wrong with the viewer or the player. It's more importantly that Boba Fett is two characters rolled into one, and some people are trying to get the best of all abilities on Boba Fett with not the correct mods. So to start off, we're going to be having a look at how to mod Boba Fett, and we're going to be looking at the two versions of Boba Fett and how to mod for what you're trying to build. Welcome to Smithy D's class of 2017. I'm your teacher, Mr. Smithy. So I'm going to presume you as a viewer don't have those all-important elite mods at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to split Boba in half and have a look at the two sides of Boba and what builds you can build with the mods you may have. This one is purely a damage build, so this build right here isn't going for that ability block. You will use the ability block, but it isn't your number one priority. The number one priority for you would be the damage that Boba Fett is dishing out. We then have the other side of Boba Fett where he is a speedster ability blocker. So what you're wanting to do with your character is to ability block straight away before any other character gets to move. And this is the sort of build that you'd need to be looking for. As you start to progress, you're going to be able to start making a hybrid Boba Fett, which is going to take the best of both of those builds that have been mentioned. The way I've started this and the way I've approached this, I'm going to show you my mods on my Boba Fett, then I'm going to show you some footage of him with a leader, with the mods that he's got, and him non-leader. So the setup that I have personally gone for, I've gone for mainly 230 speed with a critical damage of 180% with the potency at 67.55%, and most of all I have on him is a 57.99% of critical chance. The way I've done this is I've gone for 4 critical damage mods, and these are the stats for the first critical damage transmitter. Then followed by the arrow, which is definitely always going to be speed. This is very important that you are putting speed and looking for great secondaries. The third mod I've gone for is a health processor. So what this is, this has again high speed on it, and this is why it's important to my Boba Fett. On the holo array I've gone for critical chance, and this definitely leaves you open to explore other options of Boba Fett. I have then gone, as always, on the data bus, I have gone for protection and looking for the best secondaries I can find for him. On the multiplexer I have gone for mainly potency and speed, so that's really what I want to get from that to make him a little bit quicker, and more importantly so he can land his ability block. So with having him as leader, I'm gaining an extra 50% critical damage and an extra 10% critical chance, so that's going to take my Boba Fett straight up to 67.99% critical chance. Now let's have a look at him as a non-leader. With him lacking in the department of the critical chance, because we're not going to be getting that extra 10% nor that extra 50% damage, the results are underwhelming at best. But what is the best way of how we can get the best out of Boba Fett? The good thing about my current build that I use, it allows me to be adaptable. When I say adaptable, and especially for you as a viewer, that not everybody has critical damage mod sets. So what I'm going to suggest on that is you could use any mod you desire as long as they've got speed and critical chance as secondaries, and most importantly that you do put the 36% critical damage on Boba, and he would perform as a leadership very close to how my Boba is in this video. To get the best out of Boba Fett is definitely that critical damage, so even having 186% critical damage followed by very, very high critical chance, and that is very important because what is the point of having high critical damage if he's not critting? There is lots of different ways that you can build your Boba Fett. Once you do get those elite mods, then you'll be able to run your Boba Fett at 216% critical damage and have around 70% critical chance. But that could be a while from you. And that would also include that you could have some great speed on him as well. But for now, I would suggest building on the critical chance, speed, and getting a little bit of potency on there. You don't have to go all whammy out on critical damage mods, because the main thing is, as long as he's critting, he's still going to do a lot of damage with his execute on any buffs and debuffs. So what his execute does, it deals physical damage to a target enemy and dispels all status effects on them. So that includes debuffs and buffs. It deals 30% more damage for each effect dispelled. Enemies defeated by this ability can't be revived, and it reduces all cooldowns by 1 on a finishing blow. This attack cannot be evaded, and this is once it's been omega'd. With a damage type Boba set aside, the best way you're going to get the best out of your Boba Fett is in teams like an Empire team, debuffing teams, any team that lays down the debuffs. Boba Fett will benefit, and more importantly, that's where your critical chance pops into it, because he needs to crit on his execute to deal that high damage, which is vital for teams like Darth Vader Zeta, that there's going to be a lot of dots. You could also use it against a General Kenobi that has a lot of buffs, Sheru Imwe. So there is lots and lots of variations where you can put Boba. You could even slot Boba into Wedge and Biggs and have him as a leader. You know, he can go anywhere. He goes into bounty hunter squads. He is so dynamic and universal that he can do what you need him to do. If you want him to be a DPS character, he will be a DPS character. If you want him to be a support character, he will be that support character. And it is finding the fine line between the two with your mods that you currently have, because I cannot see your mods. I don't know what mods you've got, but I can only give you the best advice from my experience of what you could do. And the best way to do that is to build a Boba Fett like I've shown in this video. This would be a great start point for you, where it doesn't require lots of critical damage mods. You could go with pure speed, you could go with whatever you like, as long as you're doing the two important rules, and that is 1, having a critical damage triangle, and also having lots of critical chance. Heck, you could even give it a try and put your offense mods, if you currently have them, stocked away for a rainy day. In time, with some mod farming, you're going to be able to get that 216% critical damage on your Boba Fett and get him to around 240 speed and have some very high potency with some critical chance. But it does take time, so we do have to start somewhere. So the winners have been selected for my ally code. So how you can redeem this is either you can message me directly through my YouTube, or you can post your ally code below. Once I've received a message or your ally code, then I will add you as my ally. As I've only got 50 ally spots, make sure that you are staying tuned for further competitions like this, where I will give out my ally code to one or more lucky viewers. If you have enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, then please make sure that you do leave a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please do that. Thank you very much for watching today. I'm the Smithy D. May the Force be with you always.